Good morning. I'm heading to work. Today we have a concert with the wind orchestra, but before that I have 1 hour to myself to practice my recorded concertos, which I'm going to be doing with the Mikkeli City Orchestra this week. I'm playing 2 concertos, one by Telemann and one by Jan Sandström, and today, as I said, I have 1 hour to do the final checkups and tweaks to the concertos before I leave to Mikkeli for the rehearsals tomorrow morning. But we'll see what happens during the next hour. I'll keep you informed. To my practice room, or a dungeon as I like to call it, because there's no natural light in here. But it's a good place to practice because there's no distractions in here whatsoever. So I have 2 concerti with the Mikkeli City Orchestra. They have 12 strings there and a conductor called Erkki Lasonpalo. And now I have this 1 hour to myself just to check out the final tweaks to my concerti. And may I begin with the Telemann, and it's the C major. So it's that one, and I'm going to play it with with this Eagle alto that I've owned for like quite many years. It's number 18 in the series, so it's quite old already, but it works amazingly well. And it's a must if you're a soloist with the orchestra. But let's play a bit and see what's the mood like for today. So this instrument has been oiled a couple of days ago, so it should be ready to go. And now I've been warming it up here in my armpit, warming up the mouthpiece, so the instrument wouldn't clog so easily. It will clog a bit, but it doesn't matter now that I'm practicing by myself. And what I'm doing now is kind of making this kind of more like a mental preparation than a technical thing. So I'm thinking about the first rehearsal with the orchestra. I'm walking in, I'm greeting the members of the orchestra, and then we're starting the rehearsal, and I'm kind of preparing for that moment. That's what's in my mind right now when I'm playing this first phrase. So if I'm making some mistakes or there's some technical errors, it doesn't really matter because this is mostly a mental thing at the moment. The second movement, it's more rhythmical one, and this is more about the tempo. We have talked with the conductor about the tempo, and it should be like 108 to 110 or something like that. We'll see what happens in the live situation, so I'm prepared to go a little bit faster or a little bit slower, but 110-ish is my goal. And that's not super fast because this is just an allegro. third movement is more like this melancholic and melodical improvisational movement, which is kind of hard for me to practice without the orchestra. So I'll jump to the final movement and check out some finger dexterity with this plastic beast I have with me today. Yeah, so this is kind of the virtuoso movement of this concerto, and I've got it, but since it's quite an early morning, I have to do some stuff to really get it into my fingers. But that's something we all have to do every day. Okay, now it's time to go to the dance in the Sub-Dominant Quagmire by the Swedish Jan Sandström. This is composed in the beginning of the 90s and it's commissioned by Musik i Västernorrland for Dan Laurin, who is this Swedish recorder, virtuoso and professor, and also my former teacher. And this is one of the kind of contemporary concerti, if you can call this that. It's a 10-minute piece for recorder and string orchestra. I heard this the first time in like 1996, 7, 8, something like this, from Dan Laurin's recording The Swedish Recorder, and I immediately loved this piece, and so it's been this kind of an idea that I would like to play this for the last 20 years. So it's really great to have the opportunity to play it this week with the Mikkeli string orchestra. The tempo here in the beginning is 76, so that's something you really have to get into your gut, because the orchestra doesn't play until the bar 6 or 7 or something like that. So I have to be the one who is in charge of the rhythm. And now there's water coming out of my thumb hole, which is quite common. And one thing I have done with the rhythm, or to have this kind of rhythmical exercise, is to use GarageBand from the iPad. This kind of this Latin thing, and then I've had it was this trap with Des, the guy called Des in here. This all just pre-looped stuff from Apple, but the tempo should be 76, like this. and then we get this. And now we can start over. Without iPad. Moi!
Moi. Laitoin sulle jo viestiä, mutta
Laitatko viestiä?
löysin sut.
Ei mulle tullut mikään läpi.
No ei se tänne varmaan.
So as it happens, my colleague just came over and you know an hour has passed. So I really should go and take my alto saxophone and play that. Because I have another rehearsal in half an hour, so I have to prepare for that, but I can still need to play this one page of this Jan Sandström piece. So yeah, I'll just do that and then I'll have to go. Thanks for staying around.